Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the inverse of a function. So in your notebook, please put down the subtitle, Inverse of a Function. So what does inversing a function mean? Well, the word inverse means to reverse. So quite naturally, the definition of inversing a function is the following. Suppose I had a function f of x. The inverse, written as f minus 1 of x, means its reversal or the undoing of the original function. And keep in mind, the notation f minus 1 of x does not mean f exponent minus 1. It means f inverse of x. And you'll hear me saying that quite a bit. Let's take a look at what inversing a function does through a quick example. Suppose I gave you a very easy function. Function f of x is equal to 3x plus 5. So the question is, what does the reversal of 3x plus 5 look like? To observe the behavior, let's plug in a number into the x. Suppose I asked you to calculate f when x is equal to 2. How does this operation carry itself out? Well, if you pay attention to bed mass, first you would have to take the 2, then you multiply by 3, and then you have to add 5. And that will give you a final answer of 11. Now the inverse, which I'm going to write in an important color, is quite easily its reverse. If you go backwards, first you have to subtract by 5, and then you have to divide by 3. So therefore, we can say that the inverse of 3x plus 5 is x minus 5 divided by 3. As you can see, it's just as straightforward as reversing all your steps. Now, one important observation from this is that when you take f of x, and just like in the example above, we plugged in 2, we saw that this gave us 11. Now, if you were to take that 11 and you plug it into the inverse of function f, it's like this, f inverse of 11, it should give back 2. Which it does. 11 minus 5 divided by 3 is equal to 2. Here's more evidence that the inverse of a function is quite literally the reversal of all the steps. Let's take a look at a more complicated example. Suppose I asked you to try and come up with the inverse for the following function. F of x is equal to 3x squared plus 2. Well, let's take a look at the inverse of this function by plugging in value into x. How about we plug in x equal to 2? So calculate f when x is 2. Well, how does this look like procedurally? Well, first, you take the 2, and according to the bed mass, you have to square it. And then you have to multiply by 3. And then you have to add 2. And that will give us a final answer of 14. Now, the inverse is basically reversing all the steps. So the reversal is simply, first we have to subtract by 2. Then we have to divide by 3, and then we have to square root it. This will lead us to conclude the following. The inverse of 3x squared plus 2 is the square root of x minus 2 divided by 3. Let's take a look at how the inverse behaves one last time. we knew that when x was 2, the function 3x squared plus 2 gave us 14. Now, if we were to take that 14 and plug it into f inverse of x, the result should give us back the 2. Let's confirm that it does. So 14 minus 2 divide by 3 and then square root the whole thing. And if you do it properly, sure enough, it does give us 2. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all there is to what is meant by the inverse of a function.